this point, I'd like to reveal to you all the secrets of restringing a classical guitar. Actually, there's not too many secrets involved, and it's not very difficult. I'm sure you're aware by now that a classical guitar has the strings tied on at this end. So I'll demonstrate how that's done, and then how it's restrung at the other end also. So first of all, if you've broken a string, or if you feel that your strings are getting too old, you'll find if you look at the strings, if they get sort of brown, sort of darkish color, and they tend to wear out at the frets. If you notice that, then it's probably time to change your strings. They'll also tend to sound fairly dead, fairly thumpy, not much tone to them. So at that point, go and pick yourself up a set of strings and take them out of the package. You'll find that they're curled up, so you just have to unravel them. Be careful, especially with the metal strings, when you're unraveling them. It's not quite as important with the nylon ones, that you don't put any kinks into it. They quite easily bend, so make sure that they stay nice and straight as you pull them out. Now, because they've just come out of the package, you'll find they're quite unmanageable. So what I find works fairly well, if I'm doing it on my lap like this, I might put one string under my leg and just, or sit on it or something, just hold it so that end is out of the way. Then take this end. It doesn't really matter which end you use, it could be either end, and place it through the little hole that's there. You might check. Some strings, some manufacturers cut their strings a bit shorter. So stretch the string out all the way and see how much slack you have, how much extra you have. If you've got lots, then pull a fair amount through. You want to leave, about 4 or 5 inches on this end and about 2 inches on this end. If the strings are a bit short, then just adjust accordingly. So get that other end out of the way so the string will stay stable. And the first step then is take the string, this end, and pass it under once, and then pull it. So what you'll have is a loop going underneath this string. String goes underneath, okay, and pull it fairly tight. Okay. Then take it and place it underneath the string again, so that this end will actually go underneath that one. Then pull that tight, hold this end, and this is what you'll have. The string going through the hole, around, underneath this main part, then it goes underneath this part here. Then pull that part up towards the front, and then do that once more. So you go over top and push the string through again. Depends. Some people do 2, some 3. You might find for the 2 higher strings, you might want to do 3 loops like that. In this case, for the other strings, you could just use 2, and then work it so that this piece coming through, when you pull it tight, gets attached behind the bridge here, so that the pressure, the forward pressure here, when it's pulling, when it tightens up, will pull against this piece, which has gone through here. And then it'll add pressure so that it doesn't slip at all. That's really all there is to that, to tying the string at that end. Then now, take the other end of the string and arrange the tuning peg so that the hole is facing you, and place it through the hole, and leave a little bit of slack, not too much. If you leave too much slack, you'll find that you'll be winding the tuning peg for hours. So just a bit of slack, then push it through like this, so it goes once around. And you'll find what's a good idea is to sort of just knot it, put it around, sort of wrap it around once. It's like this, go through, so you have like a bit of a knot. And then just tighten that up. That'll prevent it from slipping at this end. Then give it a few twists. And usually when we tune the guitar, or when we restring the guitar, we turn it so that the strings are winding, or the tuning peg, the tubes in here, are winding in that direction, so that the string is coming on top rather than coming from underneath. It doesn't really make any difference. It's just that that's generally how it's done. And if somebody picks up your guitar, or if you pick up another guitar that's not tuned that way, you'll find it's very confusing. You keep turning the wrong direction when you want to go up or when you want to go down. So give it a few turns. Make sure that knot's tight. You could pull it a few times. Then, if you like, to save yourself a bit of work, you could pick up one of these string winders. What you do with that is this fits onto the tuning peg, and you simply turn like that. It saves a lot of extra work, and when you're changing a whole set of strings, you'll find that it can be quite tedious, and you can get actually a tired wrist from turning, especially if you have tight tuning pegs. And then you keep checking, tuning up a bit, and then you might find that this slips up a bit. So just give it a little push. That knot tends to slip up a bit. Just give that a bit of a push. Make sure that's down. You might pull a bit and just check. Make sure that it's not slipping at all. And do it little by little, especially at the beginning. And check, make sure that it's not slipping. Because sometimes what can happen if it does slip, the string will come flying up, may hit you, or sometimes it'll go flying and hit the front of the guitar, especially if it slips from this end. It'll put a bit of a nick into the top. So be careful that it's fastened securely. And then raise the pitch until we get the correct pitch. And again, use the tuning, system that we introduced in the beginning, checking against the 5th fret, and then just keep tuning until you get the string in tune. What you'll find is for the first day or so, the strings continually keep slipping, keep sinking, so that you have it in tune for 1 minute, then it's out of tune. You have to keep tuning it up all the time. It's good to have an A tuning fork then, because then you can keep tuning the whole thing up to pitch, and it keeps slipping down. It may take a day or two for it to stabilize and to stay in tune. I think you'll find also that if you use a polishing cloth or something like that to wipe the strings when you're finished playing each time, that it keeps the strings in better condition and they'll last a bit longer. And also I think you'll find that one thing else that's quite important is that you don't take all your strings off at once. Do them one at a time. Take your 5th string off, change it, 4th, etc. If you change them all at once and take them all off, it tends to change the tension, obviously, quite radically, and the neck might bend a bit. So this way you're keeping a constant pressure on the neck. So the only thing to keep in mind is that these are fairly secure, and as you're tuning up, check that they don't slip. Otherwise, again, it can nick your guitar, or it can actually be a bit dangerous, especially with the metal strings.